Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Wisdom Couple podcast.
Hello.
Welcome to our another podcast. Today, we're tackling something really important.
Yeah, we're talking about how to heal after someone hurts you, someone you care about.
Oh, it's one of the toughest things, isn't it? When someone you love hurts you, it can feel absolutely heartbreaking, really challenging, leaves you feeling kind of lost, confused, just in pain.
Totally. And if you're feeling that way, please know you are definitely not alone. But the good news is healing is possible. It's a journey for sure.
Right. And today we want to share some ways, some ideas on how to navigate this difficult time and hopefully start moving forward.
Okay, so where do we start? I think first off, we need to talk about understanding the hurt itself, like really acknowledging your feelings. It is so crucial to just let yourself feel whatever comes up, sadness, anger, confusion, maybe even numbness. Trying to ignore it or, push it down, that just makes the whole healing process take longer.
Yeah, bottling it up never works, does it? And this hurt, it can come from anywhere, right? It's not just romantic partners.
Exactly. Friends can hurt us deeply, family members, anyone we trust, really.
So what does that look like? Betrayal, I guess?
Betrayal is a good word for it. It's basically a violation of trust. In a romantic relationship, that might be, well, the obvious one is infidelity. But it could also be lying, or just someone being completely unreliable when you needed them.
And for friends.
With friends, maybe it's them not being there for you during a tough time, or breaking a confidence, gossiping, And family betrayal, they can run deep. Maybe a lack of care or breaking trust when you were younger. Those early experiences can really shape things.
That makes sense. I've heard the term betrayal trauma used, especially when it's someone really close.
Yes, that's a specific type of trauma because it involves someone you depended on for safety or connection, and the impact can be serious. We're talking symptoms that can look a lot like PTSD, sometimes depression, anxiety.
Wow. And it messes with how you see yourself too, right? And trusting people later on.
Absolutely. It can really damage your self-worth and make it incredibly hard to trust again. Which brings us to trust issues more generally.
Okay.
Finding it hard to believe people are honest or reliable, that's a common fallout. Signs might include being really suspicious of people, always assuming the worst, maybe pushing people away even if you want connection, kind of self-sabotage.
Or holding on to past hurts, like really dwelling on them.
Yeah, that too. Or focusing only on the negative parts of a relationship, maybe making accusations that aren't really fair, feeling anxious or panicky about the relationship, avoiding getting close emotionally, or, on the flip side, becoming really needy and constantly needing reassurance.
That covers a lot. And where do these issues usually stem from? You mentioned early family stuff.
Often, yeah. Past experiences are huge. Childhood conflicts, being bullied, other traumas. Even just growing up around dishonesty can normalize mistrust.
Right. Okay, so besides trust issues, what else comes up? Anger seems like a big one.
Oh, definitely. Anger and resentment are super common when you've been hurt. Anger itself isn't bad. It's often a signal. It tells you something's wrong, maybe a boundary was crossed, or a need isn't being met.
But resentment, that feels different, heavier.
It is. Resentment often happens when anger isn't processed, especially if you didn't speak up for yourself or felt like you couldn't. It's like stale anger that you keep carrying.
Wow.
It's a pretty clear sign that something needed to be addressed. Maybe you needed to assert yourself more.
Okay, so we understand the hurt a bit better. How do we actually start to heal?
Well, the first step, echoing what we said earlier, is really allowing yourself to feel the pain without judging yourself for it. Just let it be there.
Easier said than done sometimes, but okay, so feel the feelings, then what? How do you let them out safely?
Good question. Talking is huge. Find someone you trust, a good friend, family member, maybe even a support group, someone who will just listen.
Or writing it down? Journal?
Yes. Journaling is fantastic for getting thoughts out of your head. And sometimes words aren't enough. Creative outlets like drawing, painting, playing music. They can be incredibly powerful ways to express complex emotions.
And taking care of yourself physically, right? That's got to be important.
Oh, absolutely vital. Basic self-care is non-negotiable. Getting enough sleep, trying to eat nutritious food, moving your body, exercise is great for stress. There's a quote from Grady Shumway about prioritizing self-care being key for emotional strength. It really is.
It builds resilience. And just taking time for yourself, doing things you actually enjoy.
Crucial. Little things count. Reading a book, taking a bath, listening to music, whatever helps you relax and recharge, even for a few minutes.
Okay, what about getting stuck in the past? Reliving the hurt over and over?
Yeah, that's a tough loop to break. Staying in the present moment as much as possible is key. Dwelling on what happened or worrying endlessly about the future, it doesn't change anything. It just keeps you stuck.
Mindfulness stuff, like meditation.
Exactly. Meditation can help, or even just spending some quiet time in nature. Focusing on your senses, what's around you right now, it helps anchor you.
And resisting the urge to hide away.
Yes. Please don't isolate yourself. It's tempting when you're hurting, but connection is so important. Stay in touch with people who care about you, who lift you up.
Getting outside helps too. You mentioned nature.
It really can. There's something very calming and, yeah, healing about being outdoors.
And finding healthy ways to cope, right?
Yeah.
Not turning to things that just numb the pain temporarily.
Definitely. Avoiding stuff like excessive drinking or drugs is important. Find healthy outlets instead. Hobbies, exercise, learning something new, things that engage you positively.
Okay, so that's the beginning. How do we actually move forward, like properly move on?
Well, a big part of moving forward is acceptance, accepting that the hurt happened. It's not about liking it or saying it was okay, but just acknowledging the reality of it.
So you're not denying it anymore.
Right. And tied to that is letting go of blame for yourself or the other person. This one's hard.
Yeah, because someone is often to blame, right?
Often, yes.
Uh-huh.
But holding on to that intense blame, it keeps you tethered to the pain. It's more about shifting focus. What can you learn from this? How can you grow? It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it frees you up. It's also a reminder that, well, people make mistakes. Doesn't mean the hurt wasn't real, though.
Okay. And letting go of trying to control things.
Huge. You can't control the other person or what happened. The only thing you truly control is your response, your choices now. Releasing that need for control is incredibly liberating.
Then there's forgiveness. That's always a tricky one.
That really is. And it's often misunderstood. Forgiveness, in this context, is mostly for you. It's a process, definitely a process, not a one-time thing of letting go of the intense anger and resentment so you can have peace. It doesn't mean you forget or that what they did was acceptable or even that you have to reconcile.
It's for your own freedom, really.
Exactly. And it takes time. Lots of time. Often.
What about protecting yourself moving forward? Boundaries.
Absolutely essential. Setting clear boundaries is about communicating what you need and what you won't accept. It's about protecting your well-being.
I heard a cool analogy once, like relationships are ships and boundaries are your icebergs. You got to let people know where they are so they don't crash into them.
That's a great way to put it. Clear communication about your limits is key.
But what if setting a boundary upsets the other person? That guilt can be intense.
Oh, for sure. That guilt is real. But you have to remember, prioritizing your emotional safety is necessary. It's okay to feel the guilt, acknowledge it, but understand that the boundary was needed for you. Their reaction is theirs to manage.
Makes sense. What about closure? Do you always need it?
Closure is complex. Sometimes a conversation might help if it's safe and you think it could bring clarity for you, but the goal shouldn't be to change them or get an apology they might not give.
Right.
And honestly, sometimes the best closure is creating distance and focusing on your own healing, accepting that you might not get that need tied with a bow ending. Your peace comes from within, not necessarily from them.
Taking responsibility for your own happiness, then.
Yes. Ultimately, that power lies with you. You get to build your future.
What else helps shift perspective?
Practicing gratitude can be surprisingly powerful, even when things are hard. Focusing on the good things you do have, however small, can create space for hope.
And surrounding yourself with good people.
Definitely. Positive people, positive environments, positive input. It all helps.
Taking action, too, maybe. Doing something positive.
Yeah, that can give you a sense of purpose and control back, helping others, working on a project. Anything that feels meaningful.
Okay, let's talk about rebuilding trust. If the relationship continues, or just trusting again in general, that feels like climbing a mountain.
It really does. It's incredibly hard after being hurt. The main thing to remember is that trust has to be earned back. Slowly. It's not just given.
So how does that happen?
It takes open communication about fears and needs. Small steps. Consistent, trustworthy behavior over time. And you have to model it too. Be trustworthy yourself. It's a two-way street, but it starts with acknowledging how difficult it is and being patient.
And what about rebuilding your own self-worth? Especially after something like a breakup, that can take a huge hit.
Oh, massive. Rebuilding self-worth is foundational. It starts with accepting how you feel about yourself, noticing that negative inner critic.
That voice that tells you you're not good enough.
Exactly. You got to learn to challenge that voice. Treat yourself with kindness like you would a child you love. Seriously, that compassion is key.
Using positive affirmations, visualizing things.
Those can help. Affirmations, visualizing yourself feeling confident.
Yeah.
Also, actively acknowledging your good qualities. Make a list. And focus on improving your quality of life, healthy habits, interests, stepping away from people or things that drag you down.
So it's really about becoming okay with yourself, liking yourself again.
Yes, comfortable in your own skin, valuing yourself, independent of anyone else's opinion. That's the goal.
This whole process, it sounds like it takes a while.
It absolutely does. Healing is a process, not an event. There's no timeline. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself.
And it's not always straightforward, right? You might feel better, then worse again.
Totally normal.
Yeah.
Think of it like stages, maybe shock, anger, sadness, eventually acceptance. But you can bounce between them. Progress isn't linear. Don't get discouraged by setbacks.
And the body holds on to this stuff too, doesn't it?
It really does. Trauma and deep emotional pain can manifest physically. So practices that connect mind and body, like yoga or meditation, even just deep breathing, can help release that stored tension.
How do you know if you are actually healing? What are the signs?
Good question. Signs might be knowing yourself better, seeing improvements in your relationships. Maybe they feel healthier, feeling stronger or more resilient when you face challenges. Sometimes even physical health improves as that emotional weight lifts.
Okay, but what if someone feels really overwhelmed, stuck, like they just can't do this on their own?
That's when seeking professional help is a really good idea. If the feelings are just too big, or you're stuck in negative thoughts, or really struggling to cope, a therapist or counselor can make a huge difference.
They have the tools and provide that safe space, right?
Exactly. They can provide specific strategies, support, and guidance tailored to you, especially if there's trauma involved or really deep-rooted issues. Options like individual therapy, or even couples counseling, if that's relevant, can be incredibly helpful.
So, wrapping up, healing is possible. It's definitely a journey.
It takes time, self-care, patience, and sometimes asking for help.
And it's not about forgetting, is it?
No, not at all. It's more about choosing to move forward, choosing to build a stronger, kinder relationship with yourself despite the hurt. Healing means you get to write the next chapter.
That's a powerful thought. Okay, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for tuning in. Remember, be kind to yourself on this journey.
Bye, everyone.
And hey, if you found this helpful, please subscribe and like. It really helps us out. See you next time.